Curious about all things paranormal? Well, you're in for a treat. Every week we dig up the top 3 craziest stories and mysteries right here from our Facebook group.
That's right. So grab yourself a drink, relax, and get ready to dive into the supernatural with us. Welcome to Top Paranormal Stories of the Week, Episode 11.
But before we dive on in to our first submission, let's take a quick look back at some of the highlights from last week's content. So in our recent episodes of Beyond the Hub podcast, we took a deep dive into paranormal triangles. In episode 1, we tackled the Bermuda Triangle, from its spooky history to all the wild theories and its strange happenings. Episode 2 brought us to Alaska Triangle, if you ever heard of that, where we talked about its remote wilderness, mysterious disappearances, and UFO sightings. And in our final episode, we covered some lesser known but equally creepy hotspots around the world, like spots in Massachusetts, Australia, and Scotland. And these were super fun to dig into. But now that's out of the way, thank you all for tuning in to Beyond the Hub podcast. I'm Nick, and here is my fiance.
My name is Caitlin. We're excited to have you join today for our 30-minute live stream. Brandon is feeling a little under the weather tonight, so I will be filling in for tonight.
So let's jump into our first pick of the day. One moment. Switch over. We're at 146,000 people. What we got here in the chat first? Brandon, hey, how you doing? Kevin, good to have you here always. Leanne, morning from down under. Let's see. What do we have here? I wanted to bring this up first, just in case anyone wanted to share any near-death experiences they may have had. So let's pick this up. Kevin, you might find one of these stories interesting. Let's look into some of the comments on here. All right. Sean Smith. I know that guy. He comments on here a lot. All right, let's read Sean Smith's near-death experience. So everyone who has a near-death experience, comment. Let's hear yours. Okay. When I was 5, we were invited to a church fellowship lunch. Everyone was swimming. Mr. and Miss Rice had a big house with a nice pool. I think the entire church was there. I just remember lots of people, and it came time for the kids to swim. I was indigent because I was only allowed in a kiddie pool. Okay. So my brother Kevin, hey Kevin, shout out to Kevin, was allowed to swim in the adult pool. Well, I wanted to swim with my brother. So I snuck up on the deck where the big pool was, but I got caught. But since my brother was there, I was allowed to sit and watch. Let's keep going here. Make sure. My brother asked to use a weighted dive belt to me. It looked like a Navy diver's belt, and I wanted to use it too. Okay, so after a while, my brother got out of the pool to go get another hot dog. Seeing my chance, I took the belt off the rack where my brother returned it. Then everyone left and I was alone. I managed to wrap it around my middle, then slid off the edge. Okay. All right. What are we doing here? Okay. Of course, I sunk like a stone. I remember thinking, I'm not trying to laugh at that. I'm just the way you worded it. I remember thinking, man, I'm a real Navy diver until I ran out of air. Okay. I don't remember panicking. Things got very calm. I could see the bright light shining above the surface, then a hand coming down, but then I looked and saw legs running in the water. It was Miss Rice, and she got the belt off me and saved me. My mom was screaming. Miss Rice was hugging me and gave me a kiss, but seriously scolded me for disobeying the rules. Then my mom grabbed me crying. When I was under the water, it was also very calm. I don't remember breathing or even being scared when I needed to take a breath. I remembered asking who was reaching for me, and they said no one was near the pool except a little girl who called for help. It wasn't a little girl's hand reaching for me, though. It was a large, silver-looking hand. Okay, interesting. I'm so glad I was spared. I grew up never went swimming for fun again, and my dreams of being a Navy diver changed. I can see that. And I joined the Army instead and had a very good career.
Oh my goodness.
Wow. We have some people in the TikTok. You can't see this chat. It's Kat. I know Kat. A near-death experience? Interesting. Do you have any to share, Kat? Okay. Kevin Smith remembers that. Okay. Anyone have any others? Do you have any near-death? What about that, when you're outside playing?
Oh, yeah. The famous parsonage house that has been posted on the Beyond the Hub YouTube page. It's a little further down because it's a little older. But I lived in that house when I was a kid, and it's an old house. And it was like a double pane window, so it had like the two slates of glass on it. And the outer part of the glass, I was playing out front with my stepbrothers, and it came out of the window, and we'd never had a problem with it before that. And, I opened the window, all the time, and it was never an issue. And, when glass hits the ground, it usually breaks. But the pane, the corner of it, stuck directly into the ground right next to us where we were playing. I didn't have any of that because I don't know if he was probably a lot closer to a near-death experience than I would have been. But it was still definitely scary. It was kind of moving in slow motion because it was like right next to you, and it was closest to me, and my stepbrother was kind of here, so it was like between us, and then my other stepbrother was here, so it like formed the fourth corner.
And I would call that a near-death experience. I mean, it was only like a foot or two away from being a death experience.
Yeah, and it was weird too because that's around the time like all that stuff started happening. We had just moved in, and all the paranormal stuff was happening there, and that's when it first started to like increase. Like it wasn't anything, it was just like little things here and there. That was like the big thing that really kind of set everything into motion. But yeah, it did not shatter. It stuck in the ground, and like my eyes were this big because I'm just like, oh my God, like what just happened? And my mother was, screaming like, get away from there, because she couldn't believe what she saw either. And she said for her it was kind of like a almost slow motion because there was nothing she could have done if it would have hit me, because she was on the porch watching us, and it was, what would she have done, so
Caught it.
Yeah.
You should have caught it. Leanne, yep, that was close. Kevin, got to leave, guys. I'll be back. Try to get back soon. Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks for stopping by.
Let's go back and see if we had any other people. Joe McGee, Sean Smith, it was definitely wasn't your time then.
Mm-hmm.
Blacked out from low blood sugar. I saw like a field in the distance, but then I woke up. It's very interesting. Now let's anyone else have any in the comments? Kat, I've never had a near-death experience, thankfully. So that's over on TikTok. Let's go and see what our next story is. Let's click over right now. This is from Sharon Grube Russomano. If I have butchered your name, I apologize. I lived in a townhouse that had a nasty black shadow people that could change shapes and had extremely long fingers. I'd see it scurrying around my bedroom walls. Once I felt something plop down on my bed, then lay down. I was wide awake. At this same residence, I took this photo. There were others similar that night. What could this be? Let's look at this picture. So I'm gonna have to click on it, and then let's see. So this is what we're looking at here. It's not letting me show the bottom portion of the photo, but this looks like it's outside. Looks like a weird. I find it strange that the hand reached in with silver. Brandon says, Nina, hello from Michigan. Darcy, hello. Actually, one moment. Let me go back to our previous one. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to share it to you all in case you want to look at that. Let's go back to this. Why is it not letting me see this photo? All right, we could see it a little bit better here. This is what they looks like. They put some sort of filter on it.
Looks like the negative filter that they use.
But look at that. Do you think that is some sort of just exposure, or do you think this is actually something?
It's hard to tell. You would think that it looks kind of like a mist-like creature, because at like the top there, it's a little bit higher. It's see-through. Like you can see the branches and everything behind it, but you can't see anything in that middle piece. But then you can see the fence behind the other part, but it's very strangely shaped.
So let's see some of the comments that we got going on here. So Shelly says it looks like a snake. Is that a picture through a window? I don't.
It doesn't say.
Lived in town. This photo. I took this photo. It doesn't say. Because you can kind of see a little glare on it.
Yeah. It would make sense if it was taken from a window, but would it still show up if, I mean, I don't know much about it, but would it still show up if, like, the negative portion of it, if it was outside a window or because it was there? I don't know.
I think it would still show up. I think. Let's see what Sherry has to say. Rising contributor, thank you, Sherry Tisdale. Okay, I believe you and your experience. Your question was, what could this be? Shadow people are known to not be good for lots of different reasons. You say that these shapeshift, and that is concerning because it usually indicates a lower level entity. I would enlist some professionals to advise and help. If this is in fact a lower level entity, it depends on how long it's been there, etc. I hope you get some answers and solutions. Someone laughed at it, but there's always going to be people who will laugh. That's just a part of the group. To me, it looks like a mist that forms an entity. Let's see what the chat is saying right now. Leanne says, it looks like something. Agree with that. Nina Marie, I have a dark shadow figure that lives in my house. My cats know it's here, and my daughter and boyfriend can feel it staring. I'm assuming you say staring at them at night. I was so scared and frozen when I've seen it. Nina, what is happening there? So your cats are able to see this too. That's interesting because our cat is always looking all weird and stuff. Before we even got the cat, there were multiple people in our house that would witness these shadows in the house. And I don't know if it had something to do with my previous paranormal investigating or just we're, talking about these topics because, I believe you can put that out into the air by just discussing these things. So if you've reached out to any of our moderators, we have chats that can help deal with that too. If you obviously, if you're in our group or part of it, please join one of those chats. They'd be able to help you out just at one of the moderators in there. Brandon, that's a good point. The negative really shows a creepy tendril-like worm thing. It's definitely something. I think it's a little bit of both your investigations and the conversation we have. Yeah, that's true. Leanne said, oh, shit. Darcy, I have one that followed me. And now I'm living on the same land as my brother, and he is having issues. So now there's two people, and we discussed this in another episode, if the land itself is haunted or is it the people? And I believe it could be both. So if you have an instance where something is happening to both of you guys, who is taking the brunt of that right now? Or where is it the worst? Darcy. Nina, things fall when they shouldn't fall. That's not that good. No. Nina, that's not that good.
Not at all.
That's not good. What else have we got here in these comments? Looking quite sad. I don't think there's anything disturbing in my parent. He looks quite sad. What looks quite sad? The snake thing? How can you say he looks sad?
Well, the top of it, like the circular part, you can kind of say is a head, and then it's kind of, that's an arm, and then the other one's a leg, and he's kind of like resting his arm up
I'm
on
a
like
snake. I'm gonna slither in your garden. All right, what else we got? Kevin, Sherry gave a good answer. What you're going through, I just pray for you on this. Okay, that's good. Connie just doesn't know what to say. She's flabbergasted. What do you guys think about that? What else is going on in the comments here? There's a video game called Monster Hunter. This is from Brandon. In that video game, there's a monster called... Brandon, I'm going to butcher this. Keizu. That Fudu looks like Keizu. Darcy, it has been following me everywhere I move. And so before you even lived at this place, before you moved to this new place, it's been following you? Nina, the land I live on has been there since 1965. Okay. Nina laughed. Okay. You can, Brandon says you can pull the Kitsu in another tab and maybe show it on the stream. All right, let me we'll do a little comparison. Copy this. Make sure I'm not there. Paste. Let's see what we got.
Oh.
All right, hold on a second. There it is. That's it.
That's exactly what that is. It looks exactly like it.
Because they have the little dragon thing. We're in the second tab here.
I would say like minus the wing. Well, I mean, there's kind of like a shadowy figure off to like the right. It could be like a shadow of maybe. But yeah, I mean, that's very similar. That's
Leanne, why aren't you commenting anymore? Because I'm repeating you. I'll stop repeating you. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. Yep, that's it.
that's absolutely terrifying. It looks like it doesn't have
Oh,
eyes.
it brought me somewhere else. I don't want to know what else. Yeah, there it is too. Actually, this one looks the closest.
Oh, it's. I'm like my eye. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, like I mean, you could see it with like the long neck and kind of like the circular of the head, and then the arms. The only thing that isn't is the wings. But I mean that, like I said, was in the other photo. It was kind of a little bit towards like the outside of it.
Yeah.
Like kind of like a mist almost.
I can see that. Let me let me copy this so you all can see this. If you want to take a look at that. Okay, and let's go to our last pick this week. This comes from Samantha Strom. Okay. This was taken in one of my old homes, and this is my child. Sorry for the bad word, but any thoughts on what this could be? Okay, here we go. I saved this one for last. Like I said, don't mind the bad words. Let's look at what we're seeing here. So it looks like someone took, it's a photo, and they believe this is some sort of shadow figure right here.
It looks like an alien.
You said it looks like an alien?
Yeah, like you know the like the like the typical
like gray,
green gray alien with big black eyes. That's what that looks like to me. Like Roger.
Like Roger.
I don't know. Like you can kind of see like the little bit of like black, like in the middle, like big black circles. Well, like the eyes, and then like a round kind of shaped head.
Well, there's definitely something there. Let's see what the comments are saying too. Please look for a new house. Okay. Okay. Brandon Darcy said it's gray. Brandon says that's definitely Roger. Mm-hmm. So I lightened it up. There's definitely something there. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see where the window is and see if there's something casting a shadow.
It is. It's staring at her.
It's a shadow person. Do you want to know if there's activity in your home? Let's see.
I'm reading the comments.
Or it's Ricky. It might be Ricky Spanish too. What is this? This is creepy. Someone had to be looking out the door and turned its head to speak to the daughter.
Oh yeah, because it's coming outside of like a door or something. Like the door opening. It was like kind of peering around.
But it is in the door frame too. Like it's inside already.
Yeah.
Maybe its shadow is
not fully through the door.
I don't know. Looks like something on the Land of the Lost. Looks like a shadow person. Nope, that is too scary. What kind of page do you think you're on? All right, what do we got here? Oh, someone did this. This one you can clearly see some facial features belonging to someone or something.
Oh, so you see on the side, it looks like there's like a nose and then like a chin. Like, right? That's like an eye socket almost. And then the little kind of coming out is like the nose.
Well, this is proving that there's actually something there. I don't, it may be the nose, but this is like from this image right here, that means it is not something just matrixing there. This is something actually there.
Yeah. Yeah, because if it was like a mist or something, I don't even think that would pop up. Like that's a pretty solid figure.
That's not a glitch. And going to there are some of your remarks are people just a kid in the picture. There's clearly something that's not human, nor do I want to live in that house.
Exactly.
Photo bomber, whatever it is, it's creepy. Yeah. So the consensus is that most of the people in here think this is something. I'm tending to believe that as well. What's everyone else's thoughts, Leanne? I told you I wouldn't read yours anymore. Brandon, in all seriousness, definitely leaning towards alien. Okay.
It definitely has like the shape of it. When they had like the black and white, it looked like a side profile almost of somebody's face, but in this like clear color picture, it definitely looks like an alien almost. And I'm trying to see, because obviously it's circled in like the blue, so I'm trying to kind of make out if it's already through the door, or maybe it's like, maybe that door like to the right of it where it's a little bit more like light, like that's already open and it's just kind of like walking in and it's just like cocked its head like, what's going on here? Like, almost.
That is true too. Let me see. Let me go back to see where it's more zoomed in.
I don't know if that's or maybe that's a closet door that's kind of open. It kind of looks like his head.
This is a door. This is
least.
obviously a door right here.
It might be one of those. Well, that either could be going out to a hallway or that could be like a double closet door. Either way, something is staring at her.
But this is open too. So, but this looks like it's coming. But this door looks like it's still closed behind it. So that's why I'm a little confused. Is it behind the door and then this is the closet? Like it's like it opened up the closet door and then peered behind.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely something here.
Let's like perfectly circular.
Yeah.
Too.
We do have a little backup post right here. Because we're running a little under schedule. So let's click. I'm going to open up this real quick. Okay. Now, this is from an anonymous person. I promise I'll try not to expose them. Marsha, that is not a cactus. I don't think so. Usually if I click on the anonymous participant, it'll highlight and show me because we're the owners of this group. Try not to do that again because I did expose someone before. But, okay. How long before a deceased loved one can visit you after their death? I estimated over a year or more. What are your thoughts? That's an interesting. I brought that. That's a very interesting question. I want to hear everyone else's theories on that, or have they had an experience like that? Let's see. There's no I get it. Paranormal says there is no time on this. It can be immediate, beforehand, months, or even years. Everyone's experience is not the same. I think that's true too. See you later. My husband called me and talked to me over the phone hours after he had died, and I was present when he died. What?
That's terrifying.
I know there was a story about when my grandfather passed away, that the hat that he would always wear was hanging up on the hat rack, and this was unbeknownst to my mother, that she didn't know that my grandpa had died. When she woke up, his hat had come off the hat rack and was in the garbage. And when she heard about this, about his passing, she was looking, was wondering where his hat was, and it was in the garbage. She's like, she put the two and two together because before she went to bed, like he hadn't died yet, but while she was sleeping, it had to have happened then. It's just very weird coincidence. Actually, there are no coincidences. I don't really think.
I don't think so either. Everything happens for a reason.
Brandon says, see you later. See you later's experience sounds like a time slip. That is true too.
Mm-hmm.
I think my mother visited me in a dream not long after my passing. I've heard experiences like that too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've had people in my dreams. There's been relatives that I frequently dream of, people that have passed.
Tell them about the tea. The tea where your great aunt or your great you remember that? Remember when you were like you had the tea in the dream, and this is when your mom was still pregnant with you, or no, not with you.
Oh, my great grandmother.
Your great grandmother. I'm thinking of two stories together, but tell this one.
So my great grandmother, so my mom's grandmother, so all maternal line was my mom's mom. She told me a story. I'd never met her. She passed away 2 days before I was born. Her funeral ended up being the same day I was born. So nobody really talked about her. I mean, there was pictures, but I was like 2 maybe. So even if somebody were to nobody ever mentioned her. I don't even remember anybody mentioning her until I was older, like 9, 10, 11 years old. And it was me and my mom, and I was having a tea party with what she thought was an imaginary friend. And she goes, oh, what are you doing? Whatever. And I was like, oh, I'm having a tea party. She goes, oh, who are you having a tea party with? I said my great-grandmother's name was Agnes. I said, Grandma Aggie, because that's always what everybody called her. And she, my mom does not, she is absolutely terrified of anything paranormal. She's like, She looked at me, she was like telling me the story. She's like, what? Like, my mom is not. Yeah, I was having a full-on tea party with my great grandmother Agnes, and to this day my mom still talks about it. I never met her, never saw any photos of her. And then when we went to my grandmother's house, there was an older photo, kind of like towards like the end of her life, maybe the last few years. My grandmother pulled out a photo so my mom could show me, and they were just going through stuff, and they just happened. She's like, oh, I just want to see if like I could pick her out of like a lineup, basically. Like, oh, like, are you just saying that? Maybe I heard the name in passing. And like, we're just looking through stuff, and my mom told me that I literally was like, that's grandma, that's who I had the tea party with. And yeah, we did not stay at that place very, very much longer, but I've never had anything else since. I mean, and my great grandmother swore to my mom I was supposed to be born 2 weeks earlier than I was, and she passed 2 days before I was born. So, and she told my mom, she's like, you are not going to have that baby until I pass away. Like, I have to go to the next life before you're able to have this baby. And my mom's like, Graham, like, come on, what are you talking about? And like, literally, as soon as my grandmother passed, great grandmother, like, maybe like, I don't know how long after, but my mom went into labor for me, and I was born the day of her funeral. So I got to meet grandma. I don't remember any of it, but my mom, I was dead set on it. I was like, I had a tea party with great grandma Aggie. And I pointed her out of a whole stack of pictures of, my grandmother had so many pictures. Yeah. She had so many boxes of them. And she literally was like, I was like, oh my God, like, that's Grandma Aggie. And my grandmother's eyes too. She was like, no, we're done. We're packing this up. Like, this is it. But yeah, like, other than that, I haven't had anything as vivid as that. I've had people come to me in dreams and stuff. And like they said, it can be any time. Like, it can be immediately after the passing, and it can be years from now. I've had an uncle that passed away that came to me in a dream like 2 years ago, and it was weird. It's like I had a conversation, and then I woke up. I was like, that was weird. You know what I mean? Like, and he passed when I was like 9 or 10, but, and it was like 10 years later, and I'm just like, this is very strange. So it can happen at any time, and I truly believe that. And I think it just depends on at what point, like, some people need to be visited sooner for closure, in my opinion. And, some people might just kind of need that reminder later in life, like, hey, I'm good. Like, we're good, Or then there's some people who don't believe in it at all and think it's a scientific thing. But I don't know. You can't scientifically make up me having a tea party with my great grandma.
Of course.
You can't make that up. I'm just.
If you're just joining us, we're talking about how long a deceased loved one can visit you after their death. Kevin Smith, welcome back. Okay, or Leanne says, wow. Okay, I believe that 100%, Kevin. All right, Dolores, my body left when I was in the theater table. I heard what the surgeons were saying, and I was looking down on myself. Appendix ruptured. It was weird, to be honest.
I believe that 100%. I work in healthcare, and I've had patients say similar stuff to me. Like, I could have swore, like, it just, anesthesia plays God, basically, at that point, if you have any belief in that, or like the near death, like they get paid a lot because they are literally, they can, one little milliliter of whatever they give you, that can put you a little over the edge where they can't wake you up. So you're hanging on like that little life death kind of roller coaster.
I had that similar experience. I'm just putting it together now when I had my shoulder surgery. When I was like, I felt like I was like watching everything, but they told me I didn't wake up. But I memorized what the operating room looked like, and how would I know that? Because they put me out before I even went back there. Let's see. Past loved ones can choose your new baby for you. Oh, wow. There's some mint on the table. You're right.
Yeah, we gotcha.
Okay, let's 1 second here. But
yeah, it was definitely an experience, because I mean, I can't imagine, like, I've never had surgery myself, so I can't imagine like waking up in like a hospital room and being like, like, no, like watching everything. But I really believe like you are so close to like the spiritual world. Like you're right on like the portal or like the realm of it or whatnot. And who knows what, nobody knows what's on the other side until you're officially over there, And it's like, people pass in hospitals and things all the time. And it's just, and people with the near-death experiences as well, like they just say, Kevin's brother, he's saying, oh, I felt at peace. I wasn't scared. And you wouldn't believe how calming a room is after someone passes. Like, it's very sad, of course, and everything, and, but, like, the sense of calm that kind of wipes over the room after you've been taking care of somebody that passes in, like, a hospital or nursing home. And it's eerie but comforting. So it's kind of like, so I 100% believe that story. That was, like, he felt comfortable, because it's got to be, I don't know, it's got to be a surreal experience. I can't imagine.
But
all right, everybody. That brings us to the end of our 30-minute live stream. If you liked what you heard and made it this far, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and click the little bell. And don't forget to share your stories below.
Hold on a second. Kevin, later on in the comment section, I'll tell you a story that happened to me concerning a Fisher-Price telephone. It was almost like, yes, we want to hear that. Tell us.
Yes.
We want to hear that story. But everyone, don't worry. The conversation doesn't end here. You can join us over on YouTube on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we'll discuss our next topic of the week. Unfortunately, this week, because Brandon is sick, in lieu of our normal topics, we're going to put an interview we had with someone who claims they were abducted by aliens and that they are sort of an alien themselves. It's really interesting. You guys are going to want to hear this one. And apparently she worked for the Department of Defense for a lot of years. So it's a really interesting video or interview. You're going to want to see it.
And if you're new here, check out their previous series where they attempt to unravel other mysteries.
Thank you all for being here. We'll see you all live next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So keep the conversation going in the comments, tag us in your posts for the chance to be featured, and stay tuned for more Beyond the Hub podcast. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everybody.